Good morning and welcome to a writer's starting line. My name is Katie and I'm trying to become an author. Um, I would love it if you were to follow along and help me on my journey so that I can learn to find my voice on my journey to become a published author. This week, the writing prompt was he found 150 new emails in his inbox. I titled the story Time Loop and I posted it on my blog back on August 13th of 2025. Um, that blog, for reference, will be linked in the description. I have all of my stories over there that you can go and read them if that is more your style. Right here, I am going to read them out loud to you. Um, I'm just going to kind of get into this one because I don't really remember much of where my brain was at and why I chose to write it the way I did. I don't know, maybe reading it. We'll get in. Let's just start reading it. Brandon was fresh out of college, ready to make a name for himself. He had started a new business helping clients design marketing advertisements. So far, things have been going well, and he had a small number of clients, enough to pay himself a decent wage. Then one day, he got some Chinese food for dinner. When he read his fortune cookie, it said, "Time is the perfectionist's worst enemy." Brandon chuckled to himself because he knew how true that was. Deadlines always meant he had to settle. Sorry, my computer just went dark. Settle for less than what he had deemed perfect. Even when he gets rave reviews of his work, he still sees the tiny details that need fixed. That takeout dinner happened 1 year ago. He has been living the same week ever since. The first morning, before he knew the time loop had started, he woke up to find the email instructions for a billboard ad due the following Tuesday. This was a new client, and there would be lots of opportunities for bigger projects if he could impress them with this. He worked tirelessly. I cannot say that word. Tirelessly all week, and by Friday night, he sent out a final draft for them to review on Monday. Brandon wanted to give himself a day for changes if they asked for any, though he saw plenty of fixes he could make already. That weekend, as much as he tried to relax, he kept finding himself back at his computer, making subtle changes until it was perfect, though he believed it never was. Monday morning, he woke to find an email that confused him. The email was the final instructions for the same billboard for the same company. Then the date caught his eye. Did the email system have a glitch? Checking his phone and calendar showed the same date as his email. Somehow, the previous week had restarted. Brandon never figured out how or why, but every week he would work on the same advertisement, send it for approval, second guess his work, and start all over again. Every week for an entire year now. Brandon was getting fed up with his life. Each week, the ad was the best it possibly could be. He was always satisfied it by the time he sent it. Yet, he still fiddled with it on the weekend. He didn't know how to get out of this time loop. Brandon had learned so much this past year by redoing the same project over and over. One Thursday night, he decided to go out to the same Chinese restaurant that he visited a year ago. After finishing his meal, Brandon looked at his fortune cookie and cracked it open. Inside it reads, "Trust your intuition. The universe is guiding your life." He is so tired of looking at his computer screen at the same thing that he just goes to bed. On Friday morning, he opens the program back up and works on the ad for another 2 hours. After lunch, As always, he sends out the final version for review. There are still some small details he would like to change. This weekend, unlike the others, he decides he isn't going to look at it. Brandon, for the first time in a long time, manages to enjoy his weekend. Monday finds Brandon refreshed for the first time in a year. He opens his email to find 150 new emails. This shocks him, and he checks the date for the first time in months. Brandon feels nothing but disbelief mixed with excitement. As he did a year ago, he checks the date on every device and calendar he can find, and they all confirm that he finally moved forward. Scrolling through the emails, the team of his client sings his praises for the advertisement and asks what else they could have him do. Other emails include potential new clients responding to his own marketing and follow-up emails planning out projects for other existing clients. Though Brandon never wants to relive something like that time loop again, he admits that he learned a lot. Not only in the programs that he uses, but that it is okay to say something is finished and walk away satisfied. Brandon sets to work answering emails, setting up meetings, and opening his in-progress projects. He is more than ready for the rest of his life to begin. So, how did you guys like that? Rather than constantly repeating the same day over and over, I had him repeat a week over and over. I do feel personally that I could have elaborated on how that year looked a little bit better. And I don't know, maybe in another format other than a story format. I could see it being like a montage sort of thing in like a show or a movie or something like that. But but that repeating just, to me, I couldn't keep writing the same thing over and over all the time. Especially since I'm not an advertisement, I don't know what that would look like. What kind of programs he was using. I just said advertisement. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Um, I hope you guys go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so that you can come back each week at 10:30 a.m. when I post my next story. You guys have a good night, and I will see you next week. Bye.